Welcome to the BettingPros PGA Podcast. I'm Pat Fitzmaurice, here with Byeong McBrayer. We have got a big 2-week stretch coming up on the PGA Tour. We have the U.S. Open coming up in a couple of weeks. But this week, we're going to give you a betting preview of the Memorial, one of the biggest non-majors of the year. We'll also give you a quick recap of the RBC Canadian Open. And at the end of the show, we'll give you our one-and-done picks. The BettingPros PGA Podcast is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is the place to go for best ball fantasy football contests. But you might not have known that Underdog has golf contests, too. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find Underdog in the App Store. And don't forget to register with the promo code BPGolf to claim your special pick and to get a first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. More on Underdog and its golf contest a little later. A year ago, we had a Canadian win the Canadian Open with Nick Taylor rolling in a 72-foot eagle putt in a playoff to beat Tommy Fleetwood. This year, we had a Scotsman win the Canadian Open with Robert McIntyre edging Ben Griffin by a shot to win at the Hamilton Golf and Country Club. It was McIntyre's first win in 45 PGA Tour starts, and he locked it up Sunday with his father caddying for him. Robert McIntyre's dad, Dougie McIntyre, is the head greenskeeper at Glen Cruton Golf Club in Oban, Scotland. So it was touching to see these two men, this father and son duo who have both made a career out of golf, sharing this moment of professional triumph. Really cool moment, Bo. Good showing for Ben Griffin, who hadn't had a top 10 finish in the since the American Express in January, and who had to withdraw from the PGA 2 weeks ago. Good showing for Victor Perez, who shot a 64 on Sunday. Looked like he might have a chance to win after he rolled in a birdie putt on the 72nd hole. And good showings for Tom Kim and Roary Mcllroy, who both shot 64s on Sunday. They were within shouting distance. Rory was a heavy betting favorite going into the tournament. Shot 3 rounds 66 or better, but a sloppy 72 on Friday really kind of thwarted him. And, Bo, I don't know about you, but I think it was a good showing for the Hamilton Golf and Country Club. I really like this course. Not long, but, there are birdies to be had, but it's no pushover, and it will punish you if your ball striking is off, and it's a pretty good test of the pro short games. What did you think about the course, McIntyre's victory, anything else?
Yeah, Bobby Mack, shout out to the Scot from the sacred ground. He's repping well. His father's a grass cutter. That was incredible. Shout out to Dougie for looping for his son. That was an all-time moment. I mean, my dad taught me the game, and he wasn't around a lot, but that was one lasting thing that he gave him, is the love for golf and nurturing that. So it got me choked up on Sunday watching Bobby Mack take that thing down with his dad on the bag. The rest of the card was outstanding. I had 4 guys in the top 10. I had a top 20 parlay with your guy McIntyre. I wasn't going to bet on McIntyre until you mentioned his name last week, and you didn't end up betting him.
I didn't.
I threw him in a top 20 parlay with Chandler Phillips. Cha-ching.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I just mentioned that he had been top 15 in 2 of his last 3 events, so maybe worth a thought, but I just didn't think he could win. That was, I
didn't either. I didn't do anything more aggressive. I kind of wish I did. Obviously, he was 80-1 outright kicking off the thing.
Yeah, I might have done better to consider him for a top 5 or a top 10 bet, but I didn't have Bobby on the card, unfortunately.
Yeah. It was probably my most profitable week that I didn't call the outright winner. So it was nice to turn a big profit without even having the winner as an outright bet.
Yeah, and good course. I'd like to see it become a more regular part of the road. It's only been there, 3 of the last. Well, it's been a more modern part.
It's back on the 5-year plan now, so okay. That's good.
Good deal. Now, we will move on to the Memorial in a moment, but first, our friends at Underdog Fantasy are our friends at Underdog Fantasy are letting you make picks on your favorite golfers all season long. Just pick higher or lower on selected stats for 2 to 5 golfers, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single day. You can also make rivals picks, choosing, for instance, which of two golfers will shoot a better score in a round. And golf picks can also be combined with player stats from other sports. Go sign up at Underdog Fantasy with the promo code BPGolf to claim your special pick and to get a first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. So the PGA Tour visits Dublin, Ohio this week for the Memorial, a tournament hosted by Ohio native Jack Nicklaus. This will be an elevated event, so we'll get a smaller than usual field and a bigger than usual purse. The host course is Muirfield Village, which has always been a tough track, but Muirfield Village has gotten even tougher since a 2021 renovation that was motivated in part by Patrick Cantlay's 19 under par winning score here in 2019. Apparently, Jack Nicklaus doesn't like someone going that low at his events on his course. So greens were reconstructed, fairway bunkers were moved, par fives were lengthened, fairways were strategically pinched, so more drives would find that thick, chewy Muirfield Village rough. Muirfield Village is a par 72 that now plays to 7,569 yards. The fairways are harder to hit than they used to be because of those pinched fairways. The rough is extremely penal, making the Memorial a pretty fitting tune-up for the U.S. Open. The bunkers are treacherous. The bent grass greens are on the small side and lightning fast. Bottom line, Muirfield Village is extremely tough, a stern test of golfing acumen. Viktor Hovland's the defending champ. He finished 7 under par and beat Denny McCarthy in a playoff last year, crushing loss for McCarthy, who would have got the biggest win of his career if he had been able to par the 72nd hole. Couldn't do it. Lost in that playoff to Hovland. Billy Horschel won here in 2022 with a score of 13 under par. Patrick Cantlay won his second Memorial in 2021, finishing 13 under par, beating Collin Morikawa on a playoff. And John Rahm won in Dublin, Ohio in 2020, finishing -9. As for the weather, Dublin is expecting thunderstorms the day before the tournament, but the renovated greens have a sub-air system that should keep them nice and firm even if the rest of the course gets soggy. But the forecast is mostly dry for the 4 days of the tournament, and conditions could be breezy with winds of 10 to 20 miles per hour for most of the tourney. So, Bo, give me your take on Muirfield Village and what it will take to win on this course.
It's a really tough course for the meat of this field. It's a limited field event, and I think the only guys who are going to get cut are the ones who are not within 10 shots of the leader after 2 rounds. So there might not be anybody cut. There might just be a couple guys cut from this field. Big purse. And what we've seen is that the winning scores are usually quite a bit better than the median scores. You get a bigger disparity there. So the guys who are playing well, they're seeing rewarded birdie chances for their form. And there's the only carnage that happens is if you have any weakness in your game at that moment, Muirfield is going to light you up. It is tough. If you're not on your game, you're going to get chewed up and spit out. If you're on your game, like some of these guys are entering this tournament, it's going to be in the 10 to 15 under par range for the winning score, most likely. And it's going to be a really tough go around the course 4 times. We're going to see some carnage, but we're also going to see some really amazing golf with a really strong field.
Yeah, every time I watch this tournament on TV, Bo, I think that I would shoot 180 on Muirfield Village.
It's just so, it's kind of like Augusta if they just made Augusta way tougher. Like, grow the rough out, like, make the pine straw a little bit more unkempt. It's like this is a very similar test to Augusta National if the rough was grown out. So it's going to be tough, but you're going to see a lot of that same positional golf, but with length.
I think Jack has said that he wanted Muirfield Village to be like Augusta, but with some thick rough. And that makes for a tough golf course. We'll get to the odds for the Memorial in just a moment. But first, if you want a chance to win a free 1-year Betting Pros subscription premium, you need to subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel right now. Comment below on this video, and that's it. We'll be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure to turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize. Now for the odds, these are all courtesy of DraftKings as of Monday afternoon. Scottie Scheffler is back in action, and of course, he is the tournament favorite. Scheffler's plus 360 to win. Roary McIlroy and Xander Schauffele are plus 900. Collin Morikawa plus 1,400. Viktor Hovland plus 1,800. Ludvig Åberg plus 2,200. Patrick Cantlay plus 2,500. Justin Thomas plus 2,800. Tommy Fleetwood plus 3,500. Hideki Matsuyama plus 4,000. And at plus 4,500, there's a big group that includes Corey Connors, Wyndham Clark, Tom Kim, Sahith Theegala, Russell Henley, and Max Homa. Who do you like from this group, Bo, and do you have any interest in betting Scottie at plus 360?
Actually, no, I'm going to skip him altogether. Usually I'd say, oh, the odds are really short, but wait to live bet him. I don't think he fits this course very well. And he's finished top 5 last couple of years. It's Scottie Scheffler. He's still always going to be in the hunt. I just think that there's such a strong field this year compared to in previous years. The course is going to play extra tough. His off-the-tee game has been a little squirrely for my liking. And on a course like this where you have to be in the fairway to avoid the big number, I mean, he's obviously doing great in the two most important categories I looked at, strokes gained on par 5 and bogey avoidance. He's in the top 5 of both of those. But off the tee, he struggled. On approach, he hasn't been his sharp self, especially on longer courses with bent grass greens. That we've seen the least solid Scottie Scheffler form in this exact format. So I have him down at like 12th overall in my scoring, which isn't terrible, but it's also it kind of leans me towards Roary McIlroy more, because everything points to Rory finally getting a good showing at Memorial, because he's coming in so red hot. His game is scorching hot right now. This guy is off the tee dynamic, number 1 in strokes gained from tee to green in this field. This guy is going to be a really tough out, especially with the way he's playing right now.
Yeah, Rory hasn't fared all that well at this course. His best finish at the Memorial over the last 10 years was 4th. He has had a couple of other top 10s, but as you said, he's just been so on his game of late. Easily could have ran away with the Canadian Open had he not stumbled on Friday. Xander is interesting. I mean, when we last saw him, he was hoisting the Wanamaker Trophy at Valhalla, but he's shown no real aptitude at Muirfield Village. I mean, let's see, 0 top 10s for Schauffele in 6 appearances here. None.
Yeah, and a lot of it comes down to this being such an emphasis on approach, and on longer approach distances, we see that as a weakness for Xander, where if you get mid to short iron approaches, he's as good as it gets. He's a great scrambler. He's great off the tee. And the one kind of a little bit mediocre stat is long iron approach, long 175 and 200 plus. That's a weak spot in his game, and it plays extremely important at Muirfield Village, so it doesn't surprise me. He's still up there with the short list of guys that I don't mind betting. But Rory at 9-1 is the one I'm really focused on, as well as a couple others that are in that 18-25 range. Viktor Hovland, defending champ. I love that guy right now.
He was.
Coach Mayo's back. Mayo's back.
Yes, struggling before the PGA, but he was 3rd at Valhalla, and he's the defending champ and finished 3rd here in 2022. 2020 also, I should say. Yes. Kind of off the map in this event in 2021 and 2022.
Horses for courses, though, and the other guy I have is Patrick Cantlay at 25-1. That's an extremely soft number for a guy who's won here twice.
Won here twice and has finished top 7 in 6 of the last 7 years at the Memorial. Yeah. I don't understand why the odds are so soft on Cantlay. I mean, I know. That's why I may have pushed a certain button earlier today. So we'll talk about that more a little bit later. One more guy worth mentioning, Collin Morikawa, has finished top 25 in all of his last 6 starts, top 10 in 4 of them. Won here in 2020, finished runner-up in 2021, although he did miss the cut here in 2022 and withdrew last year. What do you think of Morikawa?
Really solid play. I don't know that his short game's quite good enough to win here, but I mean that's kind of the only thing that's held him back. He's done everything but win here. And when you're talking about a course that puts so much demand on tee to green accuracy, that's why he's contended so many times. But again, it's coming down the stretch on Sunday with how tough this golf course is. They're going to have this thing grown out, lightning fast, And Collin doesn't play as well when the conditions are fast. That's been documented.
Yeah, the putting is scary, but man, on a course that demands precise ball striking, he's still really appealing. I just wish
he's
we were
dead last in this field in scrambling. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dead last in scrambling for Morikawa.
Yeah, that's. Let's look at some of the mid-range options, Bo. We have a big group at 50-1 with Jordan Spieth, Ben An, Alex Noren, Sungjae Im, Siwoo Kim, Sam Burns, and Matt Fitzpatrick. Tony Finau is plus 5,500. Keegan Bradley, Cameron Young, Billy Horschel, Shane Lowry, and Sepp Straka are all plus 6,000. Will Zalatoris, easy for me to say, is plus 6,500. And at plus 7,000 are Jason Day and Denny McCarthy. Do you like any of the mid-range guys, Bo?
I like one of the first guys you said, and I like one of the last guys you said.
Okay.
It's a big group, and I still think that I would find it hard to believe that the winner would come out of this entire group. But if there were two guys that came out of this group, it would be Jordan Spieth at 50-1. Outstanding scrambler, as we know. Still kind of, for as much grief as we give him for his off the tee erratic accuracy, he's kind of middle of the pack off the tee in this field, which is better than I expected, and he comes in at number 4 overall in my model. So Jordan Spieth at 50-1, that's an outstanding line to hit. And then Will Zalatoris. Say it 5 times fast, it's not easy. I just call him Willie Z. Willie Z is a horse for this course. Outstanding off the tee accuracy and one of the best iron players on this planet. Willie Z is going to be a force to be reckoned with, and he plays even better when the greens get fast and tricky.
Yeah, Willie Z was still recovering from back surgery last year when this tournament was played, but the year before, 5th. So he has shown some aptitude on this course. What about Corey Connors, Bo? Are you abandoning him now that he has left his home nation of Canada? I mean, he's got the ball striking to contend here. Did finish 6th at the Canadian Open, and he's been top 15 in 3 of his last 4 events.
What's the saying about don't be chasing wins or losses? I played Corey Connors once. I cashed a top 10, and now I'm running away from the table with my money in hand. I'm not going to give it back to the house. That's the thing with this golf course. Yes, off the tee accuracy is very important. Approach is extremely important. He's got both of those really well down. But we're talking about 55th around the greens. He's actually surprisingly 27th in putting on this exact format. But it makes me nervous because his long iron approach game is not good. He's one of the best short iron, mid iron approach guys out there. But he's near the very bottom in 200 plus proximity, and that's going to come into play quite a bit here. And the short game, I just don't trust it. It was ugly. We saw how many birdie opportunities he had, just like I said he would last week, and this guy couldn't buy a bucket. He had some really short birdie putts that would have put him in closer proximity to the top of the leaderboard on Sunday afternoon. It just didn't happen, and that's exactly why I hate running to the window with a Corey Connors ticket, because I don't trust him in his short game on a course that's going to put all of that under a very hot microscope.
Yes, speaking of good ball strikers with shaky putters, let me bring up 2 more guys. There's Ben An, who's played pretty well of late with a 3rd place finish at the Byron Nelson and a 4th in the Wells Fargo. Finished 2nd at the Memorial back in 2018. But again, we know Ben An is not the best putter in the world. And Siwoo Kim's recent form, kind of hit or miss, but he does seem to like this course. He was 4th at Muirfield Village last year, and he's been top 20 4 straight years. But again, Siwoo putter is probably the weakest part of his game. Could you get on board with either Ben An or Siwoo Kim?
Not this week. I see very poor metrics in very important categories like strokes gained par 5. There's only a handful of scoring opportunities on this golf course, and it's in the 4 par 5s. And if you don't take advantage of those 4 par 5s, you are absolutely dead in the water here, because another one is bogey avoidance on all the other holes. And again, very poor showing for both of those guys. Siwoo Kim a little bit better in that regard, but Siwoo Kim is dead last in this field on long iron approach. Ben An is 66th out of 73, and Ben An is 63rd on par 5 scoring. It's just not, I don't trust to see when I'm looking at very specific metrics for a course like this and I have them heavily weighted. I don't like to see guys that are fan favorites come in and have a red number next to them because they're struggling in a very important facet of this week's scoring.
Yeah, these guys are going to be hitting maybe 5 or 6 long irons every day. Well, I
7 to 8 by my
par
count.
Threes, yeah.
So, 7 to 8 by my count.
Basically, 3 of the par threes, a couple of the par fives, and then there's a 505-yard par 4 and one that's almost 500. So,
and both of them have forced layups that you're going to be 200 out anyway.
Yeah, long irons are important here indeed. All right, what about long shots in this elevated event, Bo? Is there anyone with odds longer than 71 who appeals to you? I know the long shots aren't always as appealing in these elevated events just because the field is so good, but you always seem to come up with some intriguing names, so hit me.
Well, the first one's a horse for the course. Another prior champion at the Memorial at 100-1, Justin Rose, playing great right now. And as we've outlined, the only time I play him is when golf courses demand par 5 scoring and good long iron approach. He's 14th in par 5 scoring and 10th on long approach. So Justin Rose's recent form, especially at the PGA, it was encouraging for a course like this because it's so similar. We're talking about a long golf course, fast greens. It's gonna be tough on a lot of these guys, but Justin Rose fits the mold. And 100-1, I've done a lot dumber stuff with $5 to $10. And a top 20 bet at 100-1, you're getting 5 or 6 to 1 on a top 20 bet. I would take that 100% of the time. And my one long shot is 250-1. Our guy, our cash machine ATM, the big siesta, Jake Knapp, winner of the Mexico Open, long hitter, great off the tee. His approach game has been better this year, and I just think that he has enough firepower to make it something. If he finds a groove, this guy has enough talent to hang around. Whether or not he can avoid the big numbers, that remains to be seen, but that's baked into 250-1.
Yep. He's got to find fairways this week is all there is to it. And, that's a fair to wonder whether Jake Knapp is going to be able to do that. Man, the only name I could come up with as a possibility in this range was Adam Schenk at 200-1. Finished 7th at the Memorial last year, 26th in 2022. He's finished top 15 in 3 of his last 7 events. So, decent form and a decent track record here. 200-1, interesting price. Let's just say if I bet it, I'm not going to be betting it large by any means. So, who do you have in your betting card as of now, Bo?
So I'm doing a lead off with Rory at 9-1. Then I'm doing Viktor at 18-1, Patrick Cantlay 25-1, Jordan Spieth 50-1, Willie Zalatoris 65, Justin Rose 100, and Jake Knapp 250, with the latter two with top 20 kicker bets.
Oh man, I'm going to I want to bet Collin Morikawa, and I think I'm going to do it if that price moves off anywhere off 1,400. Like if it gets if plus 1,500, plus 1,600, I'm in. I'm betting Patrick Cantlay outright plus 2,500. My favorite bet by far. Plus 2,500 to win, plus 500 for a top 5.
He has longer odds than Ludwig Åberg, who is battling a knee injury and hasn't shown that he can win a PGA Tour event yet. So that's a really soft number for. It's not saying that Ludwig's number is too short. It just puts into perspective of a guy that we've seen win this thing multiple times, somehow being less valued in the betting sphere than the rookie.
Yeah. And then I'm going to go with small outrights on Siwoo Kim and Ben An, Bo. I just can't resist. And I'm going to curse myself as I watch those guys miss birdie putt after birdie putt this weekend. And we'll see. Maybe Adam Schenk 200 to 1.
Hey.
I'll probably put a buck or two on him.
You need to, because last week you mentioned Bobby Mack and you didn't throw the money on that.
That's right. That's right.
If you don't put the skin in the game, you'll regret it every time.
Yes, there it is. I'm going with Adam Schenk this week for a buck or two. Before we get to our one and done picks, if you're playing in a one and done golf pool yourself, or if you're playing in any sort of tiers-based majors pool this year, and we do have a major coming up next week, our friends at Pool Genius have a new product that gives you a big edge. Using objective data like betting odds, course performance, and national pick trends, the tool highlights the top value picks that give you an edge, and it can all be customized specifically for your pool. If you're doing a one-and-done pool or majors pool, let Pool Genius be your secret weapon. And by the way, Pool Genius isn't just for golf pools. You can use it for March Madness pools, NFL Survivor pools, and more. For 10% off on the majors tool and for up to 55% off on yearly packages that include all golf, football, and March Madness tools, visit poolgenius.com/fantasypros. Again, that's poolgenius.com/fantasypros. Let's get to our one and done picks. Last week at the Canadian Open, Bo took Canadian Corey Connors. He finished solo 6th, which was worth $340,750. I took Tommy Fleetwood, who was well-positioned after 3 rounds, opened by hitting his drive on number 1 underneath a pine tree and not even getting it back to the fairway. Anyway, he stumbled into a tie for 21st, good for $106,000.
Classic Sunday Tommy.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw that live. I was watching first tee shot of the day on Sunday. I was like, oh, Tommy's done.
And the announcers are like, he's going to be careful not to hit this too far through the fairway. I'm like, I don't think that's going to be a problem. I mean, he had no, an inch of clearance to get that ball under that pine. Anyway, so, $106,377 for Tommy. Bo is now within $800,000 of me, and Bo leads off this week at the Memorial, a lucrative, elevated event.
I need
Who
this
are you
one.
taking?
I've saved this golfer long enough. I'm going to go with my guy, Roary Mcllroy from Hollywood, Northern Ireland.
Oh, as you alluded to last week, Bo, you weren't going to burn him on a non-elevated event. Man, I'm going to go with Viktor Hovland, the defending
Solid.
champ. Hate taking the defending champ, but
No, I don't hate that pick at all.
yeah, they're just only a few picks I feel really
It's going to be a
comfortable with here in
clash
one
of the
and done.
Titans in our
Yes.
one and done this week.
Yes, it is. Rory.
And Pinehurst next week is huge. There's going to be some carnage next week.
Definitely. And that is going to do it for this week's show. I want to thank our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Sign up for Underdog with the promo code BPGolf to claim your special pick and to get a first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. And please come join Bo and I again next week when we'll be previewing the third major of the year, the U.S. Open. Until then, so long.